Gaddafi was saying, no, the time has come that Africans must have their own currency, backed by African gold. That is what Africa must be thinking about when we talk about African unity. That is what we are thinking about, and that is what we are talking about. And you asked me to remember a man with whom I had a long conversation about Africa, John Joseph Pombe Magufuli. You know, when John Joseph Pombe Magufuli came into Tanzania, he came in for a short time, but he demonstrated to the world that it can be done with the resources of Tanzania. And I think the man who put it best was Lazarus Makati Chakwera, the president of Malawi, on the occasion of the oration that he gave for 8 minutes during the funeral of John Joseph Pombe Magufuli. I'll not repeat the oration, but he said in effect that the world did not know that there existed a John Joseph Pombe Magufuli who could demonstrate to the world that you can build a dam without borrowing a cent. That you could do things in your country by using the resources of your own country. That you could re-inject a people with an enthusiasm that gives them self-esteem they did not know until John Joseph Pombe Magufuli came. But he is with our Lord now. What we can do now, when we remember those 5 leaders and many more, because Africa has had other great leaders in the political arena, you can mention the man who was mentioned a little earlier here, from Mali, Modibo Keita. And you remember that it is Modibo and Sekou Touré of Guinea and of course Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana who started to create something that would have led to African unity. And it's not only Modibo that was great. Amilcar Cabral in Guinea-Bissau was also a great man, as was Julius Nyerere and many others, Ahmed Ben Bella, the old ones will remember. But what lessons do we learn here now? Today, you and me recognize how weak Africa is. Writing in 1963 in a book entitled Africa Must Unite, Kwame Nkrumah said, Africa may be in a position to free herself politically. She may even be in a position to free herself economically. But my fear is the psychosocial impact of colonization. The European has succeeded in demonstrating and in telling the African that he is inferior. And somehow the Africa still believes that he is inferior. He said that that will take a little longer to eliminate. The European has made the African hate what is African and love what is European. And today, when I look at Africa, even in the most mundane of things, it pains me that the Osagyefo was right. Because the battle is the battle of the mind. We of the old generation, and I believe it is also true here in Lesotho, when you have gone to school and you are in the middle class, you don't want your children to speak your mother tongue. You want them to speak English. When they speak Sesotho, you warn them. That is not good. We love the things that the colonialists taught us. If you go to the former French colonies, they want them to speak French. If you go to the former Portuguese colonies, you want them to speak Portuguese. And we do not stop there. When we go into the restaurants, the food that we order and love is English, French, complete by describing potato chips as French fries, even when they are grown here in Lesotho. And even our youngsters, the things that they love, if it is football, they don't love your football. Young men are busy on a daily basis watching English football. Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea. If they move away from England, they go to Paris Saint-Germain. If they move a little, they go to Spain, Real Madrid, Barcelona. And if they move away, they go to Italy, Roma. Oh, Africa. You'll never hear a young football enthusiast in Lesotho talking about Kaizer Chiefs, or Orlando Pirates, or Mufulira Wanderers, or St. George's in Ethiopia. Our minds are captured. And that is why those leaders that you are talking about are relevant today. Because until the day that we liberate our minds, we will remain weak. So what is the message today? The message today is, as has been told, it was said very early on, the good brigadier told us, is that when the hunters write the stories, it is the exploit of the hunters that is spoken about, not the glory of the animals. The young lady who was the program director told us, and we remember this, that is not the glory of the lion that is talked about, but the glory of the hunter. In my analogy, we Africans have been the lion for too long. The time is now that we begin writing our stories. And that is why, Kennedy, you are doing a great thing. You are now telling us stories as told by a person who is from Lesotho, a Basotho, telling your own story. You are not allowing some European historian, some European anthropologist to come and tell you what to write. You are writing it from the depths and the inner sanctums of your mind and your heart. It is only in that way that Africa will be liberated. So, ladies and gentlemen, when today we are assembled here primarily for the purpose of launching a book, it is also incumbent upon us to go back and think of our leaders not simply as people whose ideas are fossilized in time, but as people whose ideas can be activated for a general benefit. And you asked me to talk about Thomas Sankara, perhaps the younger generation think that the Osagefo is too remote in history. The man in whose honor we are assembled here today, Kennedy, only reads about the Osagefo Kwame Nkrumah in history books. But Thomas Sankara lived when you are alive. He was here in Burkina Faso in 1983. He was a military man just as you are. He participated in a process that eliminated a neo-colonial regime. The country was then known as Upper Volta. He said, why are we called Upper Volta? He changed the name into Burkina Faso, the land of the upright man. And he said that the people of Burkina Faso would be called the Burkinabe, the upright man. He came at a time when Burkina Faso could not feed ourselves. And he said that we can feed ourselves. He said that we can produce enough food to export. He said that we shall no longer be controlled from Paris, France. They took him out in 1987. And as I speak now, a trial is going on in Ouagadougou. People who are alleged to have taken him out courtesy of the colonial power of France. The spirit of Thomas Sankara is the spirit that we need now so that Africa can recognize ourselves, so that Africans can realize that we have the ability to do things for ourselves. How I feel that if Thomas Sankara was here, perhaps working jointly with others, this continent would now have a vaccine of our own. We are going through a pandemic, but I'm quite certain that the Basutu, like all Africans, are waiting for the British to give them AstraZeneca. You are waiting for the Americans to donate to you Moderna or Johnson & Johnson. You are waiting for the Russians to give you Sputnik. And you are waiting for the Chinese to give you Sinovac. For how long will Africa be better? And you tell me you are independent? Oh, Makame says that it is dependent independence. And when you are independent and you are dependent, I'll not answer the question, just tell me, are you independent? That is what Thomas Sankara was talking about. Then you asked me about Muammar al-Gaddafi. Like all great men, he made mistakes, and as Julius Kambarage Nyerere of Tanzania used to say, great men make great mistakes. Because when you dare to do great things, sometimes you make great mistakes, but there is a sense in which he also had beautiful ideas. I remember him saying, for how long shall Africa depend on the currency of others? You know, when you travel across Africa, you have the things that you and me have in our pockets. Here in Lesotho, you have malot. When you cross the border, you meet the ram. When you cross the border and you go to Botswana, you meet the pula. When you go to Angola, you meet the kwanza. When you go to Malawi, you meet the kwacha. When you go to Zambia, you meet the kwacha. You go to Tanzania, you meet the shilling. You go to Kenya, you meet the shilling. You go to Rwanda, you meet the franc. You go to Burundi, you meet the franc. You go to Ethiopia, you meet a totally different currency. And you go to Mozambique, you meet the metal. And all of our currencies, the 33 of them, are useless pieces of paper. They are useless because, as evidence shows, 80% of all transactions undertaken in Africa are terminated in the dollar. So what do I see when I look at Africa today, standing on the shoulders of those great leaders of old? When I stand on the shoulders of King Moshe Ochoe I, of the Basutu people, this is what I see. I see an Africa where people are proud of their culture, because that is what he fought for. I see a people who are proud of being the Basotho, but also proud of being African. I see a people who are proud and dignified. I see a people who recognize that our dignity lies in our diversity, standing on the shoulders of Moshe Ochoe I can see it. When I stand on the shoulders of the Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah, accuse me all you want, call me intellectually lazy, call me a romanticist, call me naive, but when I stand on the shoulders of the Osagie for Nkrumah, this is the Africa that I see. I see an Africa one day where there'll be a single passport for all of us. I see an Africa one day where there'll be a single telephone code for all of us. I see that Africa. I see an Africa one day where there'll only be one ambassador for the entire continent of Africa at the United Nations. I see an Africa one day that will be sitting as a permanent member of the UN General Assembly. I see that Africa. I see an Africa one day where the defense forces of Lesotho will be merged into an African defense force. I see that Africa. I see an Africa one day where the Maloti will be dead. I see an Africa where the Rand will be dead, the shilling will be dead, the Kwanza will be dead, the Kwacha will be dead, the Bir will be dead, all these useless currencies will be dead, and there'll only be one currency, the Afro, or whatever name we choose to give it. I see an Africa one day where we will not be walking around the world with bowls in our hands, begging for vaccines. I see an Africa where when we go into the classrooms, our children will not be taught the parts of a tree, but they'll be taught the value of a tree. And we shall make our own medicine. I see that Africa. That Africa I see when I stand on the shoulders of the Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah. I see an Africa as I stand on the shoulders of Thomas Sankara, an Africa where we will define ourselves, an Africa where we will reclaim the things that have been taken out of us, so that like Thomas Sankara came and renamed Upper Volta into Burkina Faso, I see an Africa one day where Livingstone in Zambia will no longer be Livingstone. It shall have an African name. I see an Africa where there'll be no Blantyre. I see an Africa where there'll be no Victoria Falls. We shall call it Musio Tunya Falls. I see that. I see an Africa where all these colonial names will disappear. I see an Africa where my children and children's children will no longer bear the name of Patrick, which I have no relation to, but will have an Africa name. I see that Africa. When I stand on the shoulders of Muammar al-Gaddafi, I see an Africa where we will have unity in diversity, where the color of our skin will not be the determinant factor, but our fidelity to the continent of Africa. I see that Africa. And when I stand on the shoulders of John Joseph Pombe Magufuli, I see an Africa that will utilize our own resources, so that when she is dealing with the Chinese, when she's dealing with the Europeans and the Americans and the Indians, she will be dealing with them on the basis of equality. An Africa that will sit at the dinner table of civilization, not under the table where she's eating crumbs. I look at that Africa and I see when I stand on the shoulders of John Joseph Pombe Magufuli. And I could stand on many other shoulders. I could stand on the shoulder of Patrice Emery Lumumba and say that I'll see an Africa where history is written by us in the same manner that Kennedy Selassie has now written here today, and we are celebrating. I can also stand on the shoulders of Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere and on the shoulders of Samora Moises Machel and say with Samora, a luta continua victoria est. Ladies and gentlemen, when I stand on the shoulders of these great men, I see great things. And as my good sister, Madam Bosio said, I have no nightmare, I have big dreams. And I will not allow nightmares to stand in my sight. I only know that those dreams will become realities. But the last time I checked, when you dream, you must wake up. otherwise you cannot fulfill those dreams. So the good old general, we will not continue in our slumber. We are dreaming, we are waking up, and Africa shall be great. And today I'm happy because we are celebrating a young man born only in 1991, a young man who has gone to school and read mathematics and computer science, a young man who has chosen to rise through the ranks. He's a private, he's an airman, a young man who is winning accolades, a young man who has founded a foundation, a young man who is telling other young men and women it can be done, it must be done, because it is our duty to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a joyous occasion here today as we celebrate Africa and as we imagine an Africa that will come, and it shall come. Those who are doubting us will be disappointed, and it is our duty to disappoint them. If it does not come during our lifetime, it shall come during the lifetime of our children, and if it does not come during the lifetime of our children, it shall do so during the lifetime of our grandchildren, and if it does not come during their lifetime, it shall come regardless. God bless you.